Thank you, sir, for your very good words. And thank you guys. This is such an immense and humbling experience, especially if you knew me back when I went to high school. And there's a couple of people who are faculty in the audience who were around when I was a student here. So I'm not going to try and fool you. I'll shoot you guys straight, and we'll just talk this out. All right, so I graduated in 2005. It was a different time back then. I'm not sure if you guys remember it, but cargo shorts were cool. You guys see an old picture of me and I'm wearing cargo shorts. Just trust me, they were cool. I'm cool. You guys wear cargo shorts, you're cool. Stand by it, we'll be back in style. YouTube had just become a thing, and Justin Timberlake had not yet become like a cool dude again. He was still just that weirdo from NSYNC with frosted tips. So, a little different time, but I think so many of the things, I look out in the audience, and so many of the things that I loved about Northwest Catholic seem to be the same. I'm going to tell you a little bit about when I started at Northwest. It was 2001, I had joined the football team. So my first week of high school, I had a couple of friends, things felt good. Monday went off without a hitch, I been stuffed in 8 lockers, and nobody gave me a swirly, feeling good. And I think I had a handle on this high school thing. And then Tuesday came, and I think it was about 3rd period, I was in Mr. Fitzpatrick's history class. And a teacher popped in, and he said, a second plane just hit the World Trade Center. And we didn't know what that meant. We didn't know that was code for something. It couldn't possibly be true. We couldn't have possibly heard that right. I remember it was a whirlwind of questions, kids getting called down to the office whose parents maybe worked in New York, and TVs on carts being wheeled into various classrooms, the library, and everybody kind of trying to get a handle on what was happening. It was intense. We were realizing America was under attack. And that was when the first seed of military service was planted for me. And if I'm going to be honest, I didn't let that seed grow until later on, but it dawned on me in the weeks and days after 9/11 that this was the major event for my generation. This is what's going to take up the most pages in a history book. This was it. And I didn't want to be on the bleachers for it. I wanted an active role. So like I said, planted the seed and then did nothing with it. I continued on in my high school endeavors. I played some sports, had a girlfriend, had a job, did clubs, occasionally did my homework, but most of the time, I was a mainstay in Ms. Keating McKean's after school washing chalkboard program. Really good. Does she still do that? Oh, okay. I'll smoke you guys and washing the chalkboard. I got the muscle memory for it. So I just kind of did my own thing. My point is I was incredibly average. Nothing special about me. I was just a dude doing my thing, and I was having a good time doing it. Anyway, I graduated from Northwest in 2005. I go to Sacred Heart University. We're going to study English because, all you have to do is really read and you get opinions on things. Seemed like a pretty good deal to me. And I joined the ROTC, and that's when I kind of started to let that seed of military service kind of grow and kind of figure out what it is I wanted. And what I learned going through some of the ROTC training is that a lot of what I had taken for granted here at Northwest allowed me to succeed. You guys may not realize it, and I don't blame you, but this is a unique environment. This is a unique environment where you have to deal with people from every walk of life, every background. And understanding how to communicate effectively with each other, that gives you a leg up in the world. It's incredible. And I don't blame you for taking it for granted. I did. And it only will get highlighted to you later, so just mark my words. I was right, okay? So I started to do well. I did well enough. I earned my commission as an officer, and I went into the Air Force. I decided to take a job that would put me kind of in the mix, in combat. It's kind of a rare thing for the Air Force. So they had this selection for a job called Tactical Air Control Party. It's a week-long test. I say test, it's horrendous to talk. They test your mental acuity, they test your leadership, they test your physical ability and your stamina and your endurance, all of those things. You guys have seen movies. You know that training montage? Just picture that, like sleep deprivation, a bunch of big dudes screaming not nice things to you, making you feel real bad, hurting your feelings a little bit. It was just that, and it was just nonstop. We were on the go, our legs never hurt so bad. And there were 30 of us who started out. 8 of us got selected. I was fortunate enough to be selected. Again, I had to rely on those leadership skills, the communication skills, the interpersonal relationship skills that I kind of learned at Northwest. I went on to do the training pipeline, which is about a year long. Just more grueling stuff. It'll be in India. You kind of get used to it. You get desensitized to it. So you guys can call me names all you want up here. Water off my back. And we did like survival school, which is really just 3 weeks of learning how to take a punch. And then I got fortunate enough to be stationed in Italy. And honestly, that's the best 2 years of my life. I got to be in Europe, got to kind of gallivant as a young man all across it was a blast. But we did have a 9-month period there where I was tasked for a deployment. I was a young lieutenant at the time. I didn't know much, but I knew I had to listen to people who were smarter than me. And luckily I had a lot of people smarter than me. So I got to rely on those dudes, and I deployed with a 24-man team. I was the leader of these guys. I'm going to tell you a couple stories. The first one's going to be about a guy named Corey Hughes, a young man. He's now out of the Air Force. Now our job as tactical air control party members is to call in airstrikes. It sounds like it's heavy work. It's stressful work. We train and we become the experts because it is a zero-fail job. You cannot have any margin of error. The airstrike you're doing needs to go exactly where it needs to go. Or else you could kill innocent people, you could kill friendly forces, you could destroy a mosque, you could end up in jail, you could end up dead, you could end up killing your friends. So it's a zero-fail job, and we are actually the experts. We don't fail at that. And we embed with different teams. That's why our training is so rigorous. We can go with conventional Army infantry unit. We can go with the Special Forces. I got buddies that are going with the Navy SEALs. So we're supposed to be kind of a plug and play. Whatever the job is, we can go and we can do this job. But the catch is, we get shot at a lot. So, this guy Corey Hughes, he's out on patrol with a 30-man infantry company, and they're in Afghanistan. And they're rolling around, and then they get into a big firefight. They're taking fire, and Corey does his job, calls back to the reporting agent, or the controlling agency, and gets 2 F-16s. You know, really cool, kind of Top Gun looking airplanes, if you guys know what I'm saying. They can drop some bombs, they're pretty cool. And every time Corey keys up the mic, the pilot can hear Corey is out of breath. And he can hear gunshots in the background. Now this pilot, Corey doesn't know this, but this pilot is a general in the Air Force. And that means he's pretty high up. He probably doesn't fly combat missions that often, but when he does, he's supposed to be kind of the best. So for one reason or the other, the climate at the time, they don't end up getting approval to do an airstrike. Nobody signs off on doing that airstrike. But the general can hear the stress in Corey's voice. He can hear that something is happening down there. And he gets word that some of the guys on that patrol have been injured, have been shot. And they were transferred to Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan, where there's a great hospital. And it happens to be where this general is flying out of. It's where he takes off from. So the general, being a great general, goes over to the hospital to visit the guys on the mission that he just flew for. And he goes up to one guy in particular, and the guy, being respectful, says, "General, thank you so much for everything you did." He was doing shows of force, which means he gets real low, tries to scare the enemy. It's when we can't do an airstrike, we can do a show of force, hopefully trick them. Trick them for long enough to keep their heads down. Let them know we see them, let them know we will escalate, hopefully, and hopefully have them break contact, stop shooting at us. So the guy thanks the general, and the general says, oh yeah, no problem, just my job. And then the guy says, but I want you to go find the TAC-P and tell him I said thanks. And the general said, oh, of course I will. Because he's a good general, you know, he's a good general. But he said, but just for my own edification, why? What should I thank him for? And that guy explains to the general that the entire time they were getting shot at, while Corey was talking to those F-16s, Corey was running out into the open and grabbing the wounded, throwing them on his shoulder, and running back to safety. He did this over and over and over again. Now the general, he did some digging, he couldn't find Corey. He couldn't relay that message to him. So he's a general, he did what generals do, and he wrote an article in the newspaper. And it's called, Tell the TAC-P I Said Thanks. Very, very Googleable. It's a short read, I definitely recommend it. Now I'm going to tell you, I wanted to tell you that story about Corey because it kind of explains some things about the job. And I'm also going to tell you a story about myself. It just feels weird talking about myself, so I wanted to throw him out there first. He's a great guy, he's actually a firefighter now in California. So, I'm in Afghanistan, same deployment. I'm rolling out with a scout platoon, scout recon platoon, whose job it was to go out a couple of days ahead of time, scout out a route for, I didn't mean that around, that was pretty cool. Scout out a route for friendly convoys moving through the area. Make sure that there was no, we'll call it excessive enemy activity. No ambushes out there. We go, we scout it out, handle it if we need to handle it, or just tell them this is not a mission work. Bad guy territory. We get there a couple days ahead of time, we go out, cover of darkness. They call it a hill, it's a mountain. Believe me, I was in better shape, I could handle it. So we go to the top of it, and we set up kind of on the crest, about 3/4 of the way up the mountain. We don't want to highlight ourselves at the top, so you just kind of, you crest the mountain, just barely. And we're sitting there, I'm with a sniper and a machine gunner, looking out on the route. We have about 270 degrees. You guys all take geometry? As you can see, 270 degrees. We got 90 degrees behind us that we don't see. But we're not too worried about it, we got a mountain blocking us, no biggie. The sun comes up, and a couple hours into the sunlight, we see about 30 Taliban members. Now I'm in a team of 20. We see 30 Taliban members about a mile away at an intersection. I grab on my binos, my binoculars, I take a look. They got RPGs, they got machine guns. It's gonna be a tough day. And then they disperse. As we're making the call up to our higher headquarters, they disperse. They kind of lose sight of them. I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna get worse before it gets better. And about 10 minutes later, in concert, the mountain just erupts with bullets. They are firing, they know we are there, and they are trying to shoot at us. So sniper's doing his job, taking out some guys, the machine gunner's doing his job, just laying on the trigger, trying to keep their heads down, trying to make them think twice about trying to run up on us. I gotta pop my head up, start looking to see where they are, because I have to pull that targeting data. I have to pass that to the airplane, whatever we get. But first I gotta call the controlling agency. I gotta let them know we are troops in contact and that we need air power now. I pass that word, they say, okay, it's gonna be 30 minutes, can you wait? I say, what if I can? And they said, oh, you're gonna. So we waited. And in the meantime, I started kind of pulling that target down. Look at where they are out there in the terrain, look at my map, pull a grid, I can pass that to the aircraft, we can take this dude out. And it dawns on me, ugh, the other guys are getting shot at too. I'm gonna have to get over there. So I take a couple of deep breaths, and I haul. I just get up. You can ask Coach Tyler, I'm not very fast. But I was moving. I was moving that day. Now bullets do an interesting thing when they are in the air around you. If it's a whiz, You know someone's just kind of firing around you. You can hear it. If it's a snap, they see you and they are targeting you. These bullets are snapping, and I'm watching them land around me. So I put a little bit more pep in my step. To get to the next element, slide in, ask them where they're taking fire from. They point in a direction, pop my head up, a couple bullets slam into the rock in front of me, pop my head back down. I'm gonna try a different angle. Look around the other side, spot them, got them. Now get to the next element, and continue doing that all around the mountain. Finally, we get air support, and it's 2 A-10s. I don't know if you guys are familiar with A-10s. You can just give me a low moan if you're not. I'll explain real quick. They're big, ugly aircraft that have a very powerful gun on the front. They carry bombs, but you really want that gun. They shoot bullets the size of this water bottle, and they are perfect for close air support. And this enemy is close. We need something like a gun. We need something that's going to mitigate collateral damage to anything else except for what we want to hit, and something that we can employ close to our position, because these guys are they're coming up on us. So I pass all this targeting data to the aircraft. They call tally on every single target. They see them. They know where they are. I run up to the platoon leader and I say, hey, we got all of these targets, aircraft sees them, are we good to go? He makes a call back to higher headquarters, tick tock, a little bit more time goes by, finally they approve it. And that aircraft did airstrikes for about 30 minutes. Just gun run after gun run. And at the end of that 30 minutes, it was silent. You hear the faint echoes of jet noise. But no more bullets flying. We all breathed a good sigh of relief. And then we collected at the top of the mountain, do a head count, see if anybody's been killed, see if anybody's injured. And nobody was, thank God. Everybody was good. And as we're doing the head count, a couple of those dudes came up at the elements that I had to run to. They came up to me and they said, hey, thanks man, you saved our lives. And I played it off, nah, you did. And they were just like, no man, you saved our lives. We weren't getting out of that unless we did that, unless you directed those airstrikes. I was just like, humbled. It's crazy. Luckily we had a long walk back, a good 6-mile walk back for me to think about that. And your mind wanders, and I had a kind of a moment of introspection. Like how did I get here? Why would they think that I'm to credit? And how did I put myself in a position to benefit these guys, to do something good? And I started to kind of think about Northwest. The principles I learned here, the leadership I learned here, the ability to interact, to assimilate, those are what put me in a position, those are what got me through harder positions to put me in that one, and put me in a position to succeed. Now I'm telling you this story not because I think it's cool, not because I'm trying to pat myself on the back, or because I want you to think I'm cool. I do want you to think I'm cool, but that's not the point of the story. I hope I can highlight to you guys that I'm an average dude. Nothing too special about me. You can check out some of my game film from football. I'm average, all right? My point is, if an average guy like me can have a positive impact on the people around me, I cannot wait to see what you guys have in store. So much of what you will learn here, besides the books, obviously you're going to learn your schoolwork, but the intangibles, the world needs that. The world needs you guys, especially right now. And like I said, I am excited to see what you guys have in store for us. That's all I got, guys. Thank you very much.